Hello and welcome to The Extra Point. I am Pat Boyle. Game 7 of the 2016 World Series. As epic as it was, you would never believe some of the crazy stories that happened behind the scenes as CSN Chicago prepared for the biggest night of their existence. After a 4-hour-plus post-game show, one thing was certain: there were many stories to tell. Game 7 was a microcosm of everything that it is to be a Chicago Cubs fan. Everything.
It was the greatest roller coaster ride ever. You were up, you were down.
It was torturous. It was brutal.
You knew you were part of baseball history, and you knew just how special that the evening was.
It was either going to be the greatest win in Chicago sports history or the biggest bust ever.
It was one of the most intense experiences I've ever gone through, and it was awesome.
At the end, it was the greatest high you could have. I was ready to vomit doing my live shot as a fan. I felt so I've never been anxious for a live shot on television, but just getting ready for the game, as a fan, I was so nervous going into this game.
There was butterflies. I mean, I think there has to be, right? You're either going to be world champion or you're going to think about how you let it get away for a long time.
I remember literally everything about Game 7, and I think I told myself beforehand, remember this night, because no matter what happens, it's going to be historic. And just because it was the Cubs, no matter what, it was going to be bigger than probably anything I had ever been a part of.
Game 7 of the World Series. It's hard to imagine a more important ball game than the one that we're about to see in a few minutes.
The lead up a little bit. So you definitely felt like we were in control of the game.
I was binge eating. I started binge eating at one point. I had a pizza, a milkshake, a hot dog. I had a collection of just awful foods, and I had housed them all by like the 3rd inning.
We start out in the auxiliary press box watching innings 1 through 6, and about the 6th inning, I started to kind of pack up my computer and my phone and my bag and head down right behind home plate. And that takes a good, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes of where you really aren't seeing the game at all, any of the action. I'm watching my phone and my Twitter feed and basically following it on the MLB app and just trying to stay up with, in the 6th inning, what's going on in this game. And then we get pushed into the back of the hallway where there's one television. There had to have been 30 people in the corner of right behind the backstop, the stairwell, that are all watching this television.
I put on some rain gear on my camera to protect from the champagne. I put on a jacket. I put like these tearaway pants on, in front of my jeans so I wouldn't get stained in a celebration. So I was prepared, but then I started to get really nervous, and I was thinking to myself, am I jinxing this? Did I do this too early?
The most intense part of the whole thing is we're out on our set. We have a monitor, and it's 15 seconds delayed. Well, I don't want to watch 15 seconds delayed. So I'm at the other end of our set out near the street because I can hear the speaker on the side of the stadium. And now I hear that they get a hit. It's 6-4. And I'm okay, and Hollinsworth is yelling at me. He keeps going, "Would you relax? We've got this. It's over. It's good." And I turned to him and I said, "You don't understand. You played here. You didn't grow up and die with this team like I did. With more than any team in any sport, there are no done deals with the Chicago Cubs. They could be up 100-0, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and they could find a way to screw this whole thing up." So now Holly's laughing at me, and I'm mad.
Yeah, I'm here. Cap's not talking till this game's over.
I'm really, I don't want to hear it. I'm getting text after text. Congratulations. So happy for you. And I'm either not responding or close to him. I'm like, stop. The game isn't over.
I'm not watching the game. I'm watching him watching the game. And he's standing behind the set with his head in his hands when things are going bad. He's pumping his fists when things are going good. And I just found it to be the most unique and amazing experience that I've had. It's so different than I've experienced before.
Mic check, guys. I've given you 5 mic checks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Leave me alone.
Hi, Nelly.
I could see the monitor where he's at because obviously he's in Cleveland, I'm back in Chicago. And I know he's feeling exactly what I'm feeling. It's a gut punch. But Cap is just such a Cub fan, and I think that's part of the appeal is like he was such a fan. Just let him be emotional about it. But I just kind of let him go for a while, and knowing that he's saying a lot of what everybody's feeling out there.
There are times when I texted our producer, Ryan McGuffey, he said to me, how's Cap doing? And I said, this is hard to watch. It's hard to watch Dave go through all this stuff because it's heart-wrenching, the ups and downs.
I just remember the home run that ties the game, hearing the crowd before the television that's on a 4-second delay, and just feeling my heart sink into my stomach. Want to take a deep breath with me? Nah. You want to take a deep breath? Okay. I needed that. We're good.
We've got an ace closer who's top 3 in the game, and he gives up a home run to Rajai Flippin' Davis? I mean, we're not talking about, Mike Trout took him deep. We're talking about Rajai Davis choking up on the bat 6 inches, and he smokes one to left. And when I heard those fireworks go off, I nearly threw up. I did. I nearly got sick thinking, you got to be kidding me.
For me, the homer was never even in my psyche. And so when he hit it and it went out, I think I was just stunned because I had never considered that possibility, to be honest.
They've just wheeled in all the champagne. They've wheeled in all the championship hats into the Cubs clubhouse. We're on a delay from a TV that's maybe 100 yards down the stadium. You hear everybody cheer, and out comes the champagne, out comes the hats, and down comes the cart with the Cleveland hats, championship hats, and they're going down to the Cleveland dugout. And when he hit the home run and I heard the noise and all that's happening, I dropped my head because I was more furious than I was frustrated.
I am so mad.
Oh my gosh, here we go again. And yes, emotionally, I mean, my heart had gone into my stomach because honestly, as a reporter, all I'm thinking is, I don't want to go talk to guys that are crying.
You got to be kidding me. I can't believe, it can't be that cruel.
It was the first time I had really, truly ever been silenced in sports to where I really didn't comprehend what just had happened, even though everything around me said, it clearly happened. And it was also the first time in my life that I felt like it really sucked to be a Cubs fan, ever.
Honestly, I had to do quick math. I'm like, oh my God, this game's tied. And I think I was just stunned. I don't think I necessarily recognized the magnitude of what happened, or either that or I was just avoiding dealing with it.
And the first person I looked up and saw to my left was Kerry Wood standing with his kids, and he had this look of, oh my God, this just happened. The two of us just kind of looked at each other, and I was just like, I just shook my head, and Kerry, I remember dropping his head and just walking away for a second to kind of collect himself. And it was a true Cub moment up to that point. It was unbelievable.
And then the rains came, and I'm like, you got to be kidding.
They were going to get that game in no matter what, but we're just at that point kind of standing, waiting, looking at our phone.
We were once waiting for the final out, Brett. Now we were walking back in the tunnel because there's a rain delay.
It wasn't 15 minutes later that we are now being pushed all the way back down the hallways and getting back in position again, and just waiting to see what happens after that.
That all these MLB people running and Cubs personnel running and clubhouse people attendance running, and literally it was like a movie, and I think obviously this could be a movie one day.
I've never seen a hallway that crowded before the end of a game or even after a game. It's like everybody's family members seemed to be down there. Players' wives were running back and forth. General managers were running back and forth. And I was just sitting there thinking, could they really do this to Cubs fans again? Is this really going to happen? I mean, it's the reason I got into the business, was to cover the Cubs in the World Series. That was my goal. And so if it was going to go down like that, I was like, this is really going to be a kick in the pants if they don't win. And at that point in my mind, I was pretty sure they weren't going to win.
I'll be honest with you, when Jason Kipnis came up in the bottom of the ninth and he yanked one foul, I heard another swung on and belted to deep right. I thought, you got to be kidding me. A kid from Northbrook who lived on the same street as Steve Bartman, who grew up a Cub fan, just hit a walk-off to beat us? No shot I'm doing that post-game show. I'm leaving.
It's a headline writer's dream in some ways, and a columnist's dream if this guy is the reason. And he was all over those sliders, and that one foul ball, my heart sank when I left the bat.
Kipnis would have gone down as the biggest villain in Chicago sports history and maybe the biggest villain in American sports history.
I've gone back and watched it 10 times. It's not that close, but in real time, I thought that ball was gone.
What are we going to ask them if they lose this game? It's almost like you would just stick a microphone in there and just be like, what's the reaction? You know it's going to be awful, but I don't even know how you phrase it. It's like asking someone, what was it like losing a parent or a sibling or a family member? That's what it would have been interviewing somebody right after a family member died.
What's better than a deli-style Reuben? How about 2 of them for $6? Yeah, that's better. Arby's, we have the meats.
It's not too big and it's not too small.
Chevrolet's crossovers come in 3 sizes: Trax, Equinox, and Traverse.
Who wants to sit in it?
I do.
Shotgun.
Oh, wow.
This car matches me. I like this.
It's a perfect fit.
Get more than you expect for less than you imagined from the Chevrolet crossover family.
Now, during Chevy's Red Tag Sales event, get $2,250 total cash on a 2017 Chevy Trax. See your local Chevy dealer.
Tomorrow, they aren't done with the Big Apple just yet, as your Hawks head over the East River and try to open the floodgates on the Islanders. Stream our coverage on the NBC Sports app beginning at 5:30 with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live on CSN.
Tie game, 10th inning, 1 down. Ground ball to third, base hit down the left field line. The go-ahead run will score. The ball is backhanded by Geyer. Cubs lead 7-6.
You had it over 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, we should have been over 45 minutes ago.
And I told you, stop, no.
Right, and it ended up tied. So now what? You want to go down that road again?
And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What? It's over? It finally happened. It was a pretty amazing feeling because I was not David Kaplan, the broadcaster. My heart was right there beating on the set.
Hey, what did you do? Oh, ground ball, ground ball. There we go. There you go, baby. Stand by, guys. Yeah!
Wow! I was dizzy. I actually was like lightheaded. And I kind of bent over and like tried to compose myself because I had gotten a little bit emotional. And I looked back and I remember pointing up to my dad, just going, we did it. And then kind of took a deep breath. I fist bumped Holly and we went on the air, and then it was like all a blur.
Stand by, here we go. Let's go. The Cubs are the World Series champions. Stand by.
Stand by, ready to mix up on Z, ready to track Z.
It's like, holy cow, it really happened. So I gave myself 10 seconds. I said, the Cubs just won the effing World Series. And, Mom, I'm sorry. I swore. I'm sorry. You raised me better than that. But it was just 10 seconds of release. It's like, okay, that's it. Get to work. Let's celebrate later.
Yes! 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 Okay, stand Okay, stand by. Come to us in 5, 4, 3, 2, roll Z.
The Chicago Cubs have accomplished the unthinkable. They have won the 2016 World Series. The long drought is over. 108 years, goats and everything else. Forget about it, Chicago. You have a World Series champion. Holly, holy smokes, man. That was the most gut-wrenching baseball game I have ever watched.
At that point, when the Cubs win the World Series, there's not really a game plan. The game plan is get every single guy you can possibly get to talk. And if you didn't get him the next round. And if you got him already, let's get him later to see if they said anything different.
When I ran out of that field that night, my little portable live contraption that we run around was on my backpack, and it malfunctioned. There were 40,000 people streaming the game. It just wasn't working. So I got word that it wasn't working. I put my backpack down for about 30 seconds, and I was trying to troubleshoot with it, and I just said, Mike, keep it down there. Just start rolling. You could always feed it in later. And I'm not kidding you. I unhooked it, I picked up my camera, and I turned, and there was Rizzo and the other guys lifting up David Ross right in front of me, and all I had to do was pan up. And there he was, and I got that heroic shot of him with, with him crying. You could clearly see he's crying.
They just won the World Series. It doesn't get bigger than that. It'll never be that big again. What a ride! Congratulations for all the Cubs fans out there. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
They're saying it all over the city tonight.
No, you got it backwards. It's actually thank them.
He'd been around, and I'd asked him plenty of questions about it being difficult over the last 3, 4, 5 years with the Ricketts family, and he knows I'm a Cubs fan. So I thanked him, and I think he's genuinely happy for every Cubs fan because, like all of them, he's won too. Pat, where are you at?
It was like you're at a concert and you're just being pushed around and you really have no choice as to what direction you want to go. You're just moving with how everyone else is moving. And then it got really wet and smelly, and if you didn't have goggles like me, you couldn't see for part of it, so trying to be a photographer and shoot what's going on is rather difficult when you're blinded by champagne. All the team was in one corner of the locker room, so that made it really challenging to even try and move around when everyone is in one spot. I was with Luke Stuckmeyer.
Pat, look to your left. How good does this feel?
This is unreal.
What have you thought about this group here that you've gotten to know?
Well,
What's made them so special?
I only see you on TV, so this is a first. And you guys realize, actually, I don't really know anyone here. But what I think about this group here, I think you should probably just all relax a little bit. There's this champagne right here. I don't know if any of you have got it. Oh, no, come on. Come on, get good sport.
We're pacing ourselves. I probably shouldn't do that on television. You think I should?
Drinking on the job again.
Oh my God, how do I handle this? How do I handle this on live television where I'm not, because it's Bill Murray. He's offering you a swig of champagne. You can't say no. So there's this fine line to walk where I was like, you know what? I'm pacing myself, Phil. It's going to be a long weekend. And he seemed to respect that. He seemed to understand it was going to be a long weekend, but he was off to a stellar start already, so he wanted us all to join him. But I know crazily, of all the things that people were asking me about throughout the week following the celebration, that was the one that I got more texts from anybody that and tweets and Facebook messages being like, Bill Murray knows you.
Go celebrate this one. Keep it out of your eyes.
This is amazing. Oh, sorry, couldn't hold it. Couldn't hold it. Hope I didn't get anything down with that one.
Grazed off the bottom of my chin as it was shooting off the other direction, and I heard Hamill say, oh, sorry, did I? And I thought, I would have, had I looked down another inch, I would have been blinded by a champagne cork. That would have been the only thing more fitting as a Cubs fan, to have it get to that celebration and then get a cork in the eye or something awful, but it grazed off my chin. I thought that wasn't so bad.
John Lester gave a speech, and after he finished the speech, everyone popped champagne at the same time. And it was one of the most incredible, weirdest noise, smell for the next few minutes. I couldn't see anything. I had the camera on my head because I just couldn't see anything. I was crying because, not because the Cubs won the World Series, because I couldn't see. It was so, if you've ever been in a room, who's been in a room with 50 champagne bottles? It's just chaotic. For 5 minutes, I don't remember what I shot. I just stayed wide. It was panned on my head, wiped my lens a little bit. It's really a bizarre situation, and obviously a great story to tell people down the road that I was there.
I wanted to win so bad this team. I mean, since I got signed with the Cubs, it was everything that I dreamed. To be a world champion with the Cubs.
This is where I'll get emotional, because this is, for me, the part of the job that's so special is being part of this journey for the players, along with the players and their families. And for Wilson Contreras, all season long, a 22-year-old who's come to the United States to play out his dream without a support system. His support system, his brothers were the team. He wanted to win so badly for everybody else. And then I think it sunk in that not only did that happen for everybody else, it happened for him, and he got to experience it with his family here and hug them and embrace them in the biggest moment of his life. And it was emotional.
At some point, there was a moment where Luke Stuckmeyer, myself, and Pat Costello, our camera, we're in the clubhouse together, and it wasn't empty because people were starting to clean things up, but we made I just remember it was like, hey, let's take a picture of this right now. Like, we're a mess. We smelled awful, and it was like one of my favorite pictures from the entire month, because here's two people that I care about, not just as like coworkers, but they're like friends of mine, and I knew I'm flanked on each side. I'm in the middle, and here are these two diehard Cub fans that have a smile from ear to ear, because I know, like, no longer are they working. At least for like that split second, it was like, oh my God, this happened.
I always figured that when the Cubs won the World Series, if I was there, I'd probably weep on TV. It never happened, and I think it's because we were so busy. I don't think I ever really soaked in how much they had won the World Series until we were walking back to the hotel at like 4 a.m. and we bought a hot dog from a hot dog vendor, and I thought, this is a fitting end. Like, Cracker Jack, take me out to the ball game, and I just bought a dirty hot dog from a vendor at 4 a.m. Life's pretty good. I just saw the Cubs win the World Series, and it was like nobody cared what time it was. My clothes was soaked in champagne. I was wet, I was cold, and it was the best day of my career.
Unbelievable. Incredible. The most insane game I've ever seen, and emotional roller coaster I've ever been on, and a dream come true.
Friday morning, I went out to the cemetery, and I bought a pin that said 2016 World Series champions. And I went out to the cemetery and I glued it to my dad's headstone. And I brought him coffee and I talked to him and told him we won. And it was intense. It was. Because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without the love of sports he put in me.
The most magical time of the year is also the perfect time to take home a new Honda. Like the Accord, the best-selling car in America. Hurry into the Happy Honda Day sales event, only at your Honda dealer.
Esurance does auto insurance a smarter way, like their photo claims tool. It helps settle your claim quickly, which saves time, which saves money. And when they save, you save. That's auto and home insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call. Esurance does insurance a smarter way, which saves money, like bundling home and auto coverage, which reduces red tape, which saves money. And when they save, you save. That's home and auto insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call.
P is for privileges. O is for ordinarily I wouldn't. L is for layers of luxury. A is for all the way back. R is for read my mind. And I can't see a thing. S, see you in the morning. Polaris from United.
108 years. Going to play for the Cubs. Everyone to watch it up. They've been waiting for a team like you, boys.
It was probably one of the greatest Game 7s of all time. And I think to have that opportunity is, I think we have an obligation to tell the story from our point of view, because I think a lot of people who've worked in sports media over the past 50, 60 years would have loved to be in the place that we were. And I think we have an obligation to tell the story from our point of view. So it was a great opportunity for us. It was work, but not work, because I think a lot of the people that you saw on that piece, they got into sports for a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons that most of them got into sports is because of their love and passion for the Chicago Cubs. And to be in that moment at that time covering that story, it's an honor. And I think we just want to share it with the world.
Our thanks to our CSN crew for sharing their behind-the-scenes stories of the Fall Classic. And we thank you for watching this edition of The Extra Point. Have a great holiday season for everybody at CSN. I'm Pat Boyle. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for this incredible journey. And now I'm ready to pass the baton.
And I loved this country.
Celebrating the 45th president with a well-known American icon.
Chia.
Just water and watch them grow. Own a piece of history with Chia Obama and Chia Trump. A great collectible gift idea. Chia Obama, Chia Trump, Chia Clinton, and Chia Sanders at participating Kmart and at chia.com and Amazon. Order now.
Looks like we're bound to start anew. Who better start with than you, dear? See you next year.
Lease the Infiniti QX60 for $439 a month, or finance at 1.9% APR at your Chicagoland Infiniti retailer.
I'm Duncan Keith, and you're watching the home for the Chicago Blackhawks, CSN.
The group we inherited wasn't built for the 4-3 either, obviously, by the 2 years they had prior to us getting here. So they weren't built for anything. So we had to start at ground zero.
Well, I mean, if I were padding my resume, I'd probably also stress the fact that I turned nothing into the 15th ranked scoring defense. This is In the Loop Prime, presented by GMC.
Luke and Layla here. The Cubs now boast 3 pitchers on their roster who have recorded the final out for 3 of the last 4 World Series champions. Plus, we're swimming with the Sharks with no cage. Let's go no huddle.
Scary.
We got to go through this hurt, pain of losing games, the embarrassment of losing games.
Well, the Bulls took care of that last night. Today, Fred Hoiberg laid out some changes that he hopes the Bulls can believe in.
Pitcher Derek Holland with the distance. The offense was unbelievable.
Oh, the Dutch oven lands in Chicago just in time to keep you warm for the winter. But where's that nickname rank among current Chicago athletes?
The Cubs have officially signed reliever Koji Uehara. He's going to be 42 this spring, gets a 1-year deal worth reported $6 million. And like Wade Davis did for the Royals in 2015, and Mike Montgomery just did for the Cubs this fall, Uehara recorded the final out for the World Series champion Red Sox in 2013.
So is he Grandpa Uwe?
Oh, he might have to be.
Uh-huh.
Those 2 relievers join John Jay as the new additions for the Cubs. Of course, they've lost Fowler, Soler, Hamill, Chapman, and Grandpa Rossi. It's game time. We're playing better or worse with 2 of our buddies tonight. David Haw, here's the question. Is the Cubs roster right now better or worse on paper than the team that just won the World Series?
I don't think how you can say better. It's absolutely worse. You get rid of Aroldis Chapman. You get rid of Dexter Fowler. Soler is you have to replace him. I understand the optimism. I understand nobody wants to say anything is wrong with the Cubs right now after there's still the afterglow. But it's worse because you can't replace those guys yet. You have hope, but you haven't really replaced Dexter Fowler. John Jay, nice acquisition. Albert Almora, nice prospect. Not Dexter Fowler. Definitely worse.
And how can you be better than winning the World Series? You can only be equal.
You are better. You're better defensively with Albert Almora and John Jay. You are a better bullpen now because you got a better closer, more reliable closer.
Better bullpen?
In Wade Davis and Koji Uehara. And you're forgetting the biggest acquisition of all. It's called seasoning and experience. Ryan will be better. Russell will be better. Schwarber will be back. They're a better baseball team, baby.
Ross is gone too, but the monkey's off their back. Cap, I sort of agree with you. Sort of this time.
Campbell into the zone. Panarin. Campbell centered it. Eatzmoff, he scores! What a play! Brian Campbell. A perfect setup for Artem and Eatzmoff. Point blank. He buried it. And the ex-Ranger puts the Blackhawks in front.
So Artem Anisimov scored his 6th game-winning goal of the season last night. And then a parody Twitter handle, It's an Artie Party, sent this very disturbing GIF that will stay with you later to our Blackhawks insider, Tracy Myers. Yeah, I love it, though, in a macabre way. Tracy gets some odd tweets on the Blackhawks beat, but for this one, I thank her and you, the fans.
Back on the field for the first time since his 4-game suspension, I should say, for PED use. Alshon Jeffrey returned to practice at Hallis today. Now, he's not going to be able to save the season, but he does remain the Bears' leading wide receiver despite his 4-game absence. Jeffrey accepted responsibility for his actions, but he also had some very interesting thoughts about the games that he missed. The Bears were 1-3, by the way.
Yeah, we want you to weigh in. Go to csnchicago.com/vote. You see it on the bottom of your screen. How many more games would the Bears have won with Alshon during that stretch? So here are your options. 1, 2, 3, or it doesn't matter. He's the one who got suspended. Here are Alshon's thoughts on the matter.
I mean, and plus we was I ain't gonna say, but I'm a part of the team. I want to say that I feel like if I was playing some of those games, we'd have had a different outcome. We probably would have won.
So as we debate this, you mentioned, Luke, Jeffrey was the team's leading receiver when he was suspended. 630 yards. He's only had one 100-yard game this season. That was in week 1. So he's still the team's leading receiver. Cameron Meredith is close behind at 588 yards. Jeffrey has just 3 games left in that current contract. He's carrying the franchise tag. This was a poorly timed suspension for sure.
Yeah, it just makes it more inexcusable that he made this mistake if that's what it was. I see fans are starting to vote that way. It was much higher earlier. In my opinion, it's kind of a clown comment. Like, you didn't play the last 4 games. These other guys are going out there putting their bodies on the line for 4 weeks, and you're going to say, we would have won if I was out there? Well, yeah, maybe, but how do they feel? You just put them at a much worse odds of trying to win the game. It wasn't very fair.
According to his statement, it was something he thought was okay.
I get what he
owned up to it immediately. Props to him for that for sure. But yeah, it's a frustrating place to be in. Every athlete who plays thinks that they can help win a game for their team, and they should. But in this case, the votes are in. 39% saying he did it to himself. 500 people chiming in.
He might not have meant it that way, but if I was a teammate, I wouldn't be really thrilled with that comment.
Understood. So now to the White Sox newest acquisition, Derek Holland. The deal is a 1-year contract for $6 million. Holland spent his entire 8-year career with the Texas Rangers. Last season, he was injured for most of the year, but posted a 7-9 record over 22 games. 20 of those were starts. Holland tweeted this to the White Sox account. Thank you, White Sox Nation. Looking forward to being a part of a great program, an historic program. Hashtag White Sox Nation. So, in brilliant reporting, Scott Merkin of MLB.com says that Derek Holland owns 5 lizards, one of which Holland has taken to the vet during the conference call.
Yeah, so after that news got out, check out this exchange. John tweeted to Holland, "Welcome, I hope your lizard's okay," to which Holland responded, "Haha, he's at the vet now, staying overnight." But there's something else that really sticks out to us about Holland's Twitter account. His handle is @DutchOven45.
There's a lot there to that Twitter exchange. So time for you to weigh in on the best or perhaps worst nicknames in Chicago sports. Send us your suggestions at CSN in the Loop.
If that's not a list, I don't know what is. Here are some of the options.
So Holland was first given his nickname, the Dutch Oven, by a sports radio station in Dallas-Fort Worth called The Ticket. So Sox fans, now you know, when or at this point in his career, if Holland is pitching well, he's on fire, cooking like a Dutch oven.
Keith. Now one timer, they score! Oh, a bad angle one-timer from Artemi Panarin. That's a little skill right there. Breadman puts the biscuit in the basket.
Yeah, the Calder Trophy winner, Artemi Panarin, the bread man riseth. Layla, he's no loafer. Instead, like Eddie said, he's been putting biscuits in the basket since arriving to the Blackhawks. How is he not doing commercials for Panera yet? This man needs his own bread bowl.
3 seconds left. Butler firing. He scores! Jimmy G. Buckets. The G stands for kids.
It's Stacey King that really makes that one sing. Jimmy G. Buckets. Buckets doesn't just work for Jimmy, by the way. It also works for his cousin, Dougie McBuckets. But you get my drift.
They're cousins?
I think so. They both have the same last name, kind of. Jimmy Gets Buckets. Definitely on the list.
Brizzo Souvenir Company, please hold. We founded Brizzo Souvenir Company to get you the home run balls you deserve.
Brizzo, half Bryant, half Rizzo, all everything. The Brizzo Souvenir Company just made Christmas shopping a lot easier for you Cubs fans. Santa, I want a World Series championship hat. I want all the gear, and put season tickets in there while you're at it.
Offensively, we got to go with my good friend, hashtag thighs, Jordan Howard.
Does he know that that's the nickname you've given him?
Thighs?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
So Jordan Howard's nickname, given him by Lance Briggs, is Thighs. As a woman, I would be offended, but when you're a running back, I guess it's a compliment. Thighs, in all caps, on our video down below. I'm still not okay with thighs.
Earl Campbell should have been Thighs.
Yeah, or Emmitt Smith, perhaps. Yes. Also, Brizzo is the best. We authenticate him with our bats. And then for a while, I couldn't say Bryant or Rizzo. I constantly said Brizzo.
I'm surprised Taves and Kane haven't combined a name.
I am too. We'll come up with
Maybe
something.
next year.
So here are some tweets that you've given. Chicago Cubs update says, hang on, still getting myself together from the extra point at CSN Original. Thank you for that.
Cousin Mort says, this is easy. Steve Mongo McMichael has the best nickname. Peanut Buttercup Lopez has the worst. Hashtag in the loop.
Peanut Buttercup Lopez.
I've never heard that one.
What? Okay, so Steve says, Dwayne Wade, a.k.a. Flash. That's a little more straightforward.
Yeah, he doesn't like to go by that anymore, though. He's kind of ended that nickname.
Yeah, but we can bring it back. I mean, we still like Dwayne Wade. So, about those Bulls, reeling from a 21-point lead that they lost to Tom Thibodeau and the T-Wolves, D. Wade's ejection capped off the meltdown in a 99-94 Minnesota win. Today at practice, Fred Hoiberg said they're going to look at some personnel changes specifically when it comes to the bench.
Oh, yes, that theme music can only mean one thing. Time to play the good, the bad, and the ugly with Nick Friedel from ESPN 1000. Nick, first tell us something good, anything that you can think of about the Bulls right now.
Jimmy Butler. He's been unbelievable, guys. He has been everything the Bulls could have hoped for. The front office thought that Jimmy could really spread his wings with Dwayne Wade in the locker room. He's been great, and he has been one of the best players in the league in the first couple months of the season.
Okay, so the bad. Let's rank them from last night, blowing a 21-point lead to a 6-win team against their former coach. That's a lot.
It was a lot of bad, Layla. There was a lot of bad. When you're losing to Tibbs in Chicago, the first time he's coming through as coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you're blowing a 21-point lead, that is as bad a loss as you can have. And there were some long faces, not only in the locker room last night, but up in the owner's box, because they couldn't believe, that happened the way it did against Tibbs.
And Tibbs was trying not to smile. I guess the whole thing could also be the ugly, but let's be more specific. What on the team has really been ugly the last stretch here?
Luke, this one's easy. And any Bulls fan who's watched this team in the first couple months will tell you the bench play is awful. The reserves, Nico Mirotic, Doug McDermott, he just came back from that concussion, Isaiah Cannon, Denzel Valentine, Bobby Portis, you go all the way down the list. It's not good. There's nobody that Fred Hoiberg trusts coming off that bench. It's what has really hurt the Bulls repeatedly in games, and it's why they cannot find consistency, why they have good nights against good teams and really bad ones against bad teams like Minnesota. But the bench has been brutal all season.
Well, we will hope for the better coming up soon. Nick Friedel, thanks so much for the time.
Absolutely, guys.
Hey, no shortage of gravity-defying moments from around the NBA tonight. We're going to show you the ones you have to see.
Oh, look at this. They weren't built for anything, so we had to start at ground zero.
Fighting words from Fangio today to yoga and fashion from our own Kip Lewis. Get in the loop on what's going on at Hallis Hall next.
In the Loop on CSN is presented to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
That must have been some sale, Patty.
Jim just had to have it. We saved hundreds. You?
I had to have this.
Wow.
Love all of this.
It lights up everything.
This holiday season, see your GMC dealer and get something you really want. Celebrate the holidays with a new GMC. Get this low-mileage lease on this 2017 Acadia SLE1 for around $299 per month. GMC, we are professional grade.
What's better than a deli-style Reuben? How about 2 of them for $6? Yeah, that's better. Arby's, we have the meats.
We asked people to write down the things they love to do most on these balloons.
Travel with my daughter.
Roller derby?
Now, give up half of them.
Do I have to?
This is the tough financial choice we could face when we retire. But if we start saving even just 1% more of our annual income, we could keep doing all the things we love.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
I saw it. It was her fault. Here, put this neck brace on.
I just got in a wreck.
It was his fault. You're hurt. Mo.
Who are you?
Ron Stanage, lawyer. Big wreck, big check. Call me.
Bad advice is everywhere. Instant Care has a network of the best doctors and lawyers specializing in motor vehicle accidents, workers' comp claims, and general injuries. Instant Care, the legal and medical help you need, the settlement you deserve. Call 847-777-7777 for your free consultation.
Introducing the all-new KFC $10 chicken share with 9 chicken tenders, or 6 pieces of chicken, or 12 hot wings, or popcorn nuggets. Now get out there and have fun. Woo, let's go! It's finger-licking good.
Do you measure performance in horsepower or reindeer power? Get to Arlington Acura during the Acura Season of Performance event and see for yourself.
Get the maximum value for your trade-in and 0% financing for 60 months on a brand new Acura.
Bob Rohrman. Bob Rohrman's Arlington Acura in Palatine, just west of Route 53 on Dundee Road.
Our Lexus Pursuing Perfection must-see video. Clippers, Magic, and it appears Aaron Gordon's ready for another great showing at the dunk contest. The alley-oop from Elfrid Payton on the run. Gordon reverse alley from Evan Fournier. Oh, yeah, not bad. And CP3 and DeAndre Jordan. Dos Aguas! And in a post-game interview, Jordan went on to get a nasty shoulder check from his teammate. But it was all in good fun. Look at that dunk.
I love it.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, there it is. He was going for the second agua, 113 to 108.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Say that in a moment of hip-hop, like for like Tupac and Biggie. Like Jay-Z wasn't great when Tupac and Biggie was alive. Like it was Biggie, Tupac, Ice Cube.
Okay, so that's Future, the hip-hop artist, saying Jay-Z wasn't hot until Tupac and Biggie died. But the best part of this is James Harden's deadpan reaction to Future's claims, just sitting there, getting his beard trimmed, as the age-old barbershop debate continues. By the way, Future is dressed like he's going outside right now.
Our guy Norm invented that bit. Sports Business Insider presented by Elk Grove Village. Makers wanted. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said today at the owners' meeting in Texas that decisions are coming soon on the potential moves as the Chargers out of San Diego and maybe the Raiders out of Oakland.
Well, they can't all three go to L.A. So no. Goodell said, quote, "We want to keep our teams where they are," but also said, "We have not made great progress in Oakland and San Diego." Let's delve in. There is not a stadium proposal on the table that we think addresses the long-term issues of the clubs and the communities. This is continuing Goodell's statement specific to the Chargers. It's owner Dean Spanos' option by January 15th to make the determination of whether he thinks he can make it work in San Diego or whether he thinks he can make it work in Los Angeles. The Raiders' deadline is February 15th to decide if they can make it work in Oakland.
Back on the field for the first time since his 4-game suspension for PED use, Alshon Jeffrey returning to practice at Hallis Hall today. Now, he's not going to be able to save the season, but the Bears are happy to have their leading receiver back for Packer Week.
With the Bears back at work, that means we get to talk to Kip Lewis. And 1 week ago, Kip tweeted, because we started it, CSN in the loop, "I saw you making fun of my Bonobos sweater. Asked Jimmy Butler, tomorrow I'm doing my stand-up shirtless." Kip joins us. He is in clothes. He is not in a swirtle neck.
Come on, where's the shirtless?
Yeah, we want to know.
First of all, Layla, I know you're excited. You wanted to see me shirtless on this show, but as you know, the temperature. Well, actually, you know what? Let me take that back.
Oh,
Luke's
everybody did, Kip. Everybody did.
Because I'm sure Luke is he's probably been salivating, hoping he could see me shirtless.
Yeah.
But as you guys know, the temperature, it's a little bit cold outside. So I've got another sweater on. I knew I was going to do this. And I appreciate you guys welcoming me to the show by ripping my sweater last week. And by the way, yes, it was. By the way, I have Bonobos pants on. And Jimmy Butler, if they're good enough for Jimmy Butler, they're good enough for me. And so quit ripping on me and my clothes when I'm not there. Otherwise, me and Lance Briggs are going to come in and take over the loop. That's how I'm going to start.
We can't afford the bonobo sweater. I like this one.
I like
that.
you
can. You're a big baller. Don't pretend. You can do bonobos.
Okay, so Kip, Alshon.
You guys want to talk about anything important or just my clothes?
No, I mean, your clothes are great. Alshon Jeffrey's pretty good too. Returning to practice, of course. He talked afterward as well. So hit the high points for us. What do we need to know about what he had to say?
You know, I think obviously we haven't heard from him since he was suspended. He was very open. He said, hey, this is on me. It was a mistake. I think there's that feeling that, you know, he got this cleared at some point by somebody. We don't know who. And, you know, he took the blame for it, though. He said, you know, anything I put into my body, it's on me. He also said, you know, he felt bad. He felt like he let his teammates down during those 4 games. He hasn't played since the game in Tampa. And he said, hey, I felt like if I was in some of those games, maybe we could have had a chance to win. So he was very open about it. He said he's excited to be back. He did some yoga while he was gone. And even Matt Barkley said he looks even better than he did when he left here.
Hey, Kip, Vic Fangio had a very telling comment this afternoon when talking about schemes and his defense. We're going to take a quick listen here.
Okay.
The group we inherited wasn't built for the 4-3 either, obviously, by the 2 years they had prior to us getting here. So they weren't built for anything. So we had to start at ground zero.
So I guess there's no sugarcoating up there. What's your reaction to what the defensive coordinator had to say?
First of all, I was surprised because we all looked at each other, and, you know, sometimes you sit there in these press conferences and it's kind of the same old thing. And when Vic said that, we kind of looked at each other like, whoa. Like, did he just say that? And we're like, yeah, he did say it. I think it says a lot about what they thought about some of the talent that they inherited when they came here. You know, they've had a lot of work to do with this team. They've had a lot of injuries. They've talked about that. But they feel like, despite their record and some of the things we've seen on the field, that they've sort of found some young players that can turn into some pretty good NFL quality players, maybe not starters, but serviceable backups and special teams players. But, you know, I just think it says a lot about, when your defensive coordinator says that, it speaks volumes to the things that they feel they inherited when they came here.
Good stuff, Kip. Good shirt as well. Good swirl neck last.
Oh, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Now we've got to look.
Yes.
He's ready for Packer Week.
I love it. You look
guys,
good.
By the way, it's supposed to be now 0 degrees on Sunday. It was supposed to be -1, so it's warming up. I will not be there. Chris Bowden and the guys might have to find me on Bears Postgame Live sitting on my couch. Do you guys like this look, though?
Yeah, it's not bad. In all fashion, out the window when it hits below 0.
Yeah,
I love it.
I look like Luke. This is what Luke would wear in public.
I think I've seen him have that hat. Kip Lewis, thank you so much for your time. Keep it
all right.
So Alshon Jeffrey mentioned that he did some yoga, and we found this never before seen footage of you doing yoga.
Yes, that is me, actually. Kip found that, didn't he?
I think he did. That looks pretty
That's
impressive.
Me? Well, what can I say? I'm flexible.
So
I don't know what to say. I'm flexible. So what?
So here's where we found.
I've never taken yoga in
Apparently,
my life.
we tried to find an account of elderly citizens doing yoga. And that was somebody who's, I think, in their 70s.
This is what we call a failed bit. Let's move on.
Deep Blue Sea, they ate me. A shark ate me.
Would our Aussie hero who went diving without a cave fare any better than Sam Jackson? The answer is next.
That must have been some sale, Patty.
Jim just had to have it. We saved hundreds. You?
I had to have this.
Wow.
Love all of this.
It lights up everything.
This holiday season, see your GMC dealer and get something you really want. Celebrate the holidays with a new GMC. Get this low-mileage lease on this 2017 Acadia SLE1 for around $299 per month. GMC, we are professional grade.
Oh, honey, what a lovely gift. If you're looking for the perfect gift, shop The Great Escape, where you save an additional 25% on floor model hot tubs from Jacuzzi. Or escape the cold with an infrared sauna. And save thousands on fitness equipment from brands like Precor and Life Fitness, ellipticals, bikes, rowers, and treadmills from just $7.99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99. 99.
P is for privileges. O is for ordinarily I wouldn't. L is for layers of luxury. A is for all the way back. R is for read my mind. And I can't see a thing. S, see you in the morning. Polaris from United.
Looks like we're bound to start anew. Who better to start with than you, dear? See you next year.
Lease the Infiniti QX60 for $439 a month, or finance at 1.9% APR at your Chicagoland Infiniti retailer.
Oh, it's not Luke Stuckmeyer and Downward Dog, but it is more Lexus pursuing perfection must-see video. A shout-out to our director, Terry Cortez. He's a Wyoming guy. Loves former Cowboy Larry Nance Jr. and how he loves him more. The current Laker, the one-handed jam on Robin Lopez. Even Nance can't believe it, probably because he also tipped in a basket against his team last year. But the Lakers lost to the Nets 107-97.
You gotta be bleeping me.
All right, here we go. You gotta be bleeping me. Australian filmmaker went swimming with a great white shark without a cage.
What?
It even bumped him at one point. That is Jaws. Afterwards, started to dawn on him what he'd just done.
Are you crazy?
Dumb.
I said I wanted to film a great white. That was the scariest, most exciting thing ever. I'm shaking.
Yeah, that was not smart. I said you got to be bleeping me when I saw this. They told me they wanted me to do this. Kids, here's a way to break your arm and get your chores done at the same time. This kid turned his hoverboard and a shovel into a human Zamboni. Dad isn't shown here because he's in a back brace and in traction after trying to follow up his kid's work.
Well, because it's the holidays, the Blackhawks are presenting Keith on a wreath, and we have one here in studio. They're not for sale.
No.
But use the hashtag Keith on a wreath. Look, he even
has hair.
Keith hair for a chance to win one or find one somewhere in the city. I love this. I mean, the hair is...
Keith on a wreath.
He's not attacking anybody on the ice, though.
Thanks for watching In the Loop, presented by GMC. For Chicago Sports News 24/7, go to our website. That's csnchicago.com.
That must have been some sale, Patty.
Jim just had to have it. We saved hundreds. You?
I had to have this.
Wow.
Love all of this.
It lights up everything.
This holiday season, see your GMC dealer and get something you really want. Celebrate the holidays with a new GMC. Get this low-mileage lease on this 2017 Terrain SLE1 for around $199 per month. GMC, we are professional grade.
What's better than a deli-style Reuben? How about 2 of them for $6? Yeah, that's better. Arby's, we have the meat.
Tomorrow, they aren't done with the Big Apple just yet, as your Hawks head over the East River and try to open the floodgates on the Islanders. Stream our coverage on the NBC Sports app beginning at 5:30 with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live on CSN.
Thank you for this incredible journey. And now I'm ready to pass the baton.
And I love this country.
Celebrating the 45th president with a well-known American icon.
Chia.
Just water and watch them grow. Own a piece of history with Chia Obama and Chia Trump. A great collectible gift idea. Chia Obama, Chia Trump, Chia Clinton, and Chia Sanders at participating Kmart and at chia.com and Amazon. Order now. An evening in front of the fire can be so relaxing, but dangerous creosote buildup can cause a chimney fire. Help protect your home with CSL, the creosote sweeping log. It helps clean your chimney while it burns. Inside your chimney walls, there's a constant buildup of flammable tar and creosote. The active minerals in CSL will reduce those dangerous creosote deposits, making your next fires safer. It's so easy. Burn just once every 60 fires. CSL, the creosote sweeping log.
CSL is available at Sears Hardware, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, participating A's, and Kmart.
I'm Denzel Valentine, and you're watching CSN, the home for your Chicago Bulls.